Good morning and welcome back to Spurs Latest. I am your host, as always, Trip Graham. So happy to have you here. We got so much to talk about in the NBA. So let's get it started. Tough night last night for our Spurs as they lose to the Timberwolves 106 to 103. And the biggest story of last night is Wemby going out with concussion. Obviously, he's going to need to be cleared for that. Um, it looked like he might have passed out on when he went down, which is a really, really bad sign. Concussion protocols. He's most likely going to be out for the next game, I would guess. And this is why it so much matters to be a team of depth with a lot of weapons. Stephon Castle, the Fox, really have to step up in this coming game with Vassell. Obviously, this is going to be really tough. We lost last night. We do not want to go down 2-1. Energy is low for the Spurs. If one thing that I know about these Spurs, they're resilient. But like any new playoff team, it's going to be tough. Any team that is coming into the playoffs that haven't been here before, it's a new experience. Unlike, like the Nuggets or the Celtics, who've been there with this team that they have got to the top of the ladder. So it doesn't matter about how much talent you have on your team. It's about experience and how they can respond to this adversity. I'm really worried about this. Not going to lie. I'm really, really worried about how this is going to unfold. Uh, you know, Wemby was in the game last night, and they were pretty even with us, even when he's in the game. Something could have happened in the line where Wemby took over. But it was really tough with the Trailblazers beating us 106 to 103. Denny Avita had a really good game, and Wemby could be out for the following game, which is going to be really, really tough for us. Anyways, when your star player is out, the entire game plan changes, and we will see where they go from here. It's going to be tough. But that's what the playoffs are all about. They do get back home court advantage. They do get home court advantage to stealing a game at home from us. And now we got to go on the road and steal one from them. It's that simple. It's going to be tough, but we have all the tools to do it. Looking for huge gains from Fox. Looking for a huge game from Vassell. And Luke Cornett's going to have to really stand up in that paint and be that center that we truly, really need. It's going to be, that's the biggest thing, is that Cornett is going to be the biggest, difference maker in terms of the paint. We got to keep Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams at bay in the paint. With Wemby out, the game plan changes. Obviously, I believe that Luke Cornett will be starting, and then we will be having, Bismack Biyombo most likely coming off the bench. I'm sorry, not be. We're gonna need another big man off the bench along with Cornett starting. So we will see where this goes. This is why we signed Plumlee in situations like this. So I hope he's be able to step up. Luke Cornett is my main player of who I am looking forward in the next game of being that go-to guy that we can rely on the paint. Don't need flashy stats from him. I need consistent stats from him. That's the biggest thing. Consistency. Cannot let that another injury derail us again, so we need to stay healthy. It'll be really bad if we get another injury. But with our number one option out, we have to figure this out. All right, well, let's recap some other games last night. The Celtics lost to the 76ers, where VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey were able to step up for them and really deliver. for the 76ers to beat the Celtics and pretty much had to blow out the entire game. The Celtics never tried to claw back the entire game, and they were never able to get back into it. So 76ers beat the Celtics 111-97. What happened in this game? I really Tatum and Brown, weren't shooting the ball. Derek White couldn't get the ball through the net. Their new guy Vucevic had a really, really tough game in terms of defensive and offensively. Celtics are wondering if they're going to be changing up the game plan going into the next game. They missed over 30 threes, and that's what happens when you live by the three and die by the three. There's going to be nights that you die by the three, just like that. So Celtics, losing in that fashion is due to how many threes they missed. Absolutely. And that can't happen again. Celtics are down. Tied in the series 1-1. Series going back to Philadelphia. And Boston needs to put on the gas to make sure that Philadelphia doesn't steal this from them. Obviously, 76ers are without Joel Embiid, who most likely will be out this entire series. I don't see a world where he does come back this series. Weirder things have happened. But Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe were able to shoulder the load for the 76ers to propel them to win. So, good on the 76ers for figuring it out, but the Boston Celtics have a lot of work to do to respond. They really need to lock down the Edgecombe and Maxey. Have a chance in this series. They're too prolific of scores, and if one's not going, the other one is. And that's going to be my biggest, look out for this series is who is going to be able to stop them. Are Derek White going to be able to step up? Is Jaylen Brown going to step up on that defensive end to get those stops? We'll see. It's going to be really tough for the Boston Celtics, proven by last night. It doesn't matter if it was a 30-point win or a 1-point win. It's a win is a win. And the 76ers responded perfectly. It's exactly how you respond to a blowout loss. You come into their building to steal one from them. So that is my biggest thing with them is, they really, really carried that load, won that game in rightful fashion. All right, well, next thing I want to talk about was last night is the Lakers and the Rockets, and the Lakers are now up 2-0 without Doncic, and that's the biggest thing. Were they able to survive without Doncic? And they're proving they could. They're really proven they could. It's going to be tough for them going forward, but they thought it was going to be tough for them in the series, and look what they're at. Look where they are at right now. They're up 2-0 in the series and dominating the Rockets. That was a really good win from them last night, 101-94. And Lakers winning up 2-0. 2-0. Luke Kennard stepping up for the Lakers. 27 points, I believe, in game one. Really filling up that Luka role. So shout out Luke Kennard. That's really awesome for him and his progression in this league. I don't know if anybody's been seeing, but there's been some viral pictures going online of Luke Kennard in a LeBron AAU jersey, an AAU team of LeBron. So that was pretty cool to see. Shout out Luke Kennard. Really great game from him. And stepping up when it matters absolutely the most for them. Absolutely stepping up when it matters the most for the Lakers. So if Luka going to come back, this team's going to be really scared if they get to the next round. Absolutely. Luka and this Lakers team is a really, really good team. And, I know a lot of people are down on the Lakers. But how can you doubt LeBron when he's playing like this? And it has a supported cast. It's always been around LeBron's supporting cast. He's always been able to do what he needs to do. But as if his supporting cast is going to be able to get it done, which they look like they are. So Lakers looking really good in this series, up 2-0 on the Rockets. This was supposed to be the final form of the Rockets that was supposed to get them to the championship, and Lakers making quick work of them. So we will see where this goes, but very much looking forward to that. All right, next thing I want to talk about is now that we are halfway through the first round, I want to see what the odds are. So, the biggest odds for winning the championship right now is still the Thunder at minus 105. They're still favored. They're a favorite, a team thinking that it's more than likely that over 50% of the field that they are going to win the championship, which I think is crazy. I honestly think that's crazy stat. Um, but maybe Vegas knows best. 2 and 3 is the Spurs and the Celtics, both at plus 550. Then a steep drop off to the Nuggets, Cavs, Knicks, Pistons, and Lakers. Lakers at plus 7,500. That's some good money if you picked up on you picked up on the odds. That was some really good money if you had Lakers winning championship earlier this season. I believe those odds are much better than what they were. So hey, I think that the Lakers have way better of a chance than plus 7,500. To be honest, but that's just me. We will see. The biggest, Trailblazers and the Suns, but don't count out the Trailblazers yet. We have to beat them. We got to beat the Trailblazers. We cannot let this series get away from us. We cannot go down 2-1 on the Trailblazers. Next game is the most important game in the series so far, clearly. And there's a few series like that are, this close. So we will see. We will see. Yeah, other things. We talked a little about it yesterday, but Wemby wins the Defensive Player of the Year. I hope that this serves as a good indicator that he could potentially win MVP. Shea got announced yesterday as Clutch Player of the Year, the award that almost no one cares about in the NBA. So we will see. I'm really looking forward to the MVP getting announced because I really think it should be Wemby. All right, now let's just talk about some NBA news. Big news out of the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls are clearing house. They had relieved Billy Donovan of his duties yesterday as the coach, as well as his entire staff. And the Bulls are pretty much starting their organization over. Got rid of all their GMs, got rid of their coach. And it's a whole brand new start for them. So we will see where they progress. But that roster is a weird makeup of a roster. I don't know if anybody saw that, but they have like 10 guards on their roster. So not a fan of how they're constructed. But we will see. I mean, someone could come in and change house if they are able to get. I think they should swing really big and try to get Giannis. I think if I was the Bulls, I go all out and try to go get Giannis as soon as possible. Other news is Steve Kerr after that loss. Draymond said it felt like that was it, which is he's talking about the future. He feels like that the Steve Kerr era, Draymond Green era is over on the Warriors. And if it's so, that was one of the best teams that have ever existed, best dynasties that has ever existed between Draymond Green, Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. I know Klay Thompson left last year, but he is clearly a catalyst in that dynasty and served of who they were, along with those others, along with Steve Kerr. So shout out Steve Kerr. If this is the end of the road with him in the Warriors, I totally understand it, but really hope that it's not. Understand if it is. So, and then how does that impact the future of Draymond and Steph Curry? I wonder if they'll have as much loyalty to the team if, Steve Kerr is not there. It's one of my biggest thoughts about that going forward. Are they going to be able to, keep Steph? Are they keep Draymond, or does the organization want to move on as a whole after Steve Kerr leaves and kind of just start a reset after this? They still got a lot of the old Bucks: Jimmy Butler, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford. So it's like my question is like, well, you want to restart, but you got all these old guys. And yeah, you're not retooling. You're it's a weird in between position that they're at. Well, that's all I have today at Spurs Latest. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk in the next one. Spurs got to come back, even this series after a tough loss to Trailblazers. Let's get it right. I will see you in the next one. Go Spurs, go. Let's go. More NBA basketball tonight. I'll see you soon.